Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Ethical Marketing Secrets. And in this one, we have some interesting topics. We're going to talk a little bit about different design tricks, basically, that you can use to make your funnels look more credible and more professional. Just simple things that you can apply literally right after you watch this. We're also going to go over some examples of Facebook ads that I personally think are doing really well. These are variations of ads that I have seen for quite a while. And also ads, one of them in particular is something I actually bought one from, okay? So as an advertiser, you always want to be looking at what other people in your industry are doing. And if something catches your attention, and in particular makes you want to buy that particular item, then that advertiser is doing something right, and you want to model that, okay? You want to track what they're doing, because if it works on you, right, it's probably working on other people and they're making money with that ad. And the second thing is, if an ad has been running for a while, even if you've seen variations of it, popping up every now and then, that ad is probably working for them, because people don't just run ads to lose money. Okay, people run ads to make money. All right. So we're going to be going over those examples, and then we're going to go over 2 lessons that you can take from video games. This is going to be an interesting one that you can use to improve your marketing. And then we're going to go over a simple principle that you can apply to your ad to make it more effective, and we're going to be taking a look at some examples. So I do want to go over something real quick before we dive into our first topic. And I was at Target today. I was at Target earlier today. And I was actually at Target a couple days ago. And I remember I was walking through Target with my wife, and I walked across a lava lamp, right? And I haven't had a lava lamp since I was a kid, right? So those cool lamps where the thing like melts and it kind of like bubbles up to the top and then it comes back down, and it just looks pretty cool, right? And I was like, I want to get one of those lamps. So I didn't get it the first time we were there, but today I picked up a lava lamp, and I noticed some interesting things on the actual packaging of the lava lamp that were pretty interesting, and I think you might find pretty interesting yourself, right? So as we know, as we've talked about multiple times before, right, ads, copy, and a lot of this stuff is about tapping into emotions, benefits, desires, meanings, all that kind of stuff, right? So we can learn a little bit from the things around us and how big companies are positioning and framing their products, right, and how they're framing the marketing for their products, right? And when we look at different boxes and things like this, I need to stop saying that. I'm working on those filler words. So when we see how companies are framing the products that they are selling us, especially in their boxes, because the box is going to be one of the things that helps this product sell, okay? Because it has the benefits on it. It's basically kind of like an ad, right? The box. Because this is what the customer is going to see. The potential customer is going to see when they are walking around the store. So the better your box is, right, the more engaging the art is and all the stuff, the actual, I guess, technically copy on it, the better chance it's going to have of selling. If they haven't necessarily wanted to get this product, but they just kind of thought it was interesting based on the box. And this is a lot of the time kind of how it is when we are dealing with Facebook ads, because Facebook, like I said in the previous episode, we were talking about how Facebook ads are a lot about interruption-based marketing, right? So you're not necessarily, a lot of the times you're not looking necessarily for what people are promoting, but it's kind of the advertiser's job to get you interested in that product if you're not interested in it already, okay? Whether that's solving a problem or giving you some kind of nice, desirable benefit, teaching you something new, right? So anyway, right, got off a little bit on a tangent here. So we can see we have this interesting wording. Hopefully you can see it. So we got calming, peaceful, and relaxing. Right, so why is this important? Because these are interesting benefits that are kind of internal, right? It's kind of like an internal feeling, right? Like calming, right? Peaceful and relaxing, because people like to feel calm, people like to feel peaceful, and people like to feel relaxed, right? So when they see this box, they're going to be, okay, well, I can get these cool, these nice benefits, right? I can feel calm when I look at it, or I can make my room feel peaceful, right? And that's kind of, I would assume, right, the messaging that they have here is because it taps into those internal emotions, those feelings, right, that would make somebody want to buy this product. And the other thing is on the back, something else we got on the back is we also kind of have a type of future pacing. Okay, so what we have here is the product actually in use. So we have like the relaxing, decorative, and entertaining. So we can see relaxing is two people, obviously relaxed, right, with the product in the frame. And then we have decorative, which shows an example of it, enhancing the aesthetic of the room. And then we have entertaining. Well, we see people kind of huddled around the thing. It's kind of funny, but we see people huddled around the lava lamp, right? It's supposed to be entertaining, right? And the reason that this is important is because it kind of shows you, it shows you how you would use this product and gets you thinking about how you would use it if you bought it, right? And that's future pacing. Okay, that's a form of future pacing because it's showing you how you would use this thing, right? Yeah. So that was just an interesting little thing that I found, and I thought that would be useful to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our first thing that we are going to talk about here, which is 3 different design hacks, which will help you improve, will make your funnels look more trustworthy and credible. Okay, and this isn't like solely my opinion, right? This is other things that I've seen with other people's funnels. Funnels that we have written ads for that have driven results, right? They had these characteristics. So the first thing, and it's something I talked about in one of my lives before, maybe a couple months ago, it's that you need to make sure that you have a simple and defined color palette. Okay, because if you go to a funnel and it has like 20 different colors on it and it's just all over the place, it's going to be very hard to get your message across. So when you're making your funnels, you want to make sure you pick a very defined set of colors. So maybe like 3 to 4 colors max, and you can use different shades, right? But your base colors should be very minimal. And this is going to help simplify your funnel and help your messaging come across in a more professional manner. Okay, and we'll flip to the desktop real quick where we can see an example of this. So we can see, I always refer to the Expert Secrets model because it's so well made. So we can see we have a very simple color palette going on here, right? We have this red, we have like this bluish color, and then we have, like a background, black color, right? And then we have an accent color, which is kind of like this green color. And those are really all of the colors, besides the basic black and white that you see in this funnel. And this makes it a lot easier to digest, right? Because you don't have 20 different colors flying around all over the page. So just doing that is really going to help your funnels a lot because it's going to be more simple and it's going to be easier. It just makes your funnels look better, just to be blunt about it, right? Now, the second thing, after you have a defined color palette, and I'm going to leave a link to my other live that talks about how to actually find a color palette, where we talk about this this tool called Adobe Color, and you can plug in like a base color, and then you're using complementary colors and another color set called triads, and that's a way that you can come up with a color palette that actually matches. Okay, so once you have a color palette that is defined and matches and fits together, right? You want to make sure that you also have some kind of social proof, because chances are you're starting out and nobody knows who you are. Okay, nobody knows who you are. So how can you actually add some trustworthiness and some credibility into your funnels to make it more, to make your company seem more trustworthy, right? And a big way that you can do this is by using what we call social proof. Okay, and in particular, I recommend using a testimonial or a review. And if you have some kind of like Facebook page, right, you can actually take pictures, screenshots of posts that people have made on your groups or your pages or reviews or something like that, right? So you want to make sure that you have some kind of review and you want, ideally, right, you want to have a whole collection of reviews that you can use at different points in your funnel. Now, we can take a quick look at the One Funnel Away challenge funnel where, see, we have like all this copy, we have this imagery, copy imagery, all this kind of stuff. And then right here, we have an interesting thing for social proof, right? We have this review from this person that's talking about how it was a good investment for them, right? And we can see all of these testimonials just kind of flowing into the page. And this adds a lot of social proof and a lot of credibility, because people aren't necessarily going to, take your word for it, right? Because you're trying to sell them something. They want to see that other people are getting results, are getting a desirable result, and having a good experience with whatever it is that you're selling. Now, if you don't have any reviews to show, there's different ways that you can get reviews and testimonials, and that's something I've talked about in a previous live, so we're not going to go over that here, right? But start thinking about the different assets that you have in regards to testimonials, reviews, and results that you can start to kind of display on your funnels. And that's going to help a lot with credibility, because like I said, people aren't necessarily going to trust you when they see you. They want to make sure that other people trust you as well. And it's kind of like almost like a herd kind of thing. And it's going to help you sell a lot more stuff through your funnels if you have social proof going on. Okay. Now, the third thing is something that I see, not necessarily a lot, but I think it's a very valuable thing, because people are really attracted to numbers and statistics. Okay. So if you can take different numbers and statistics that are useful and you can spin them into your funnel, this helps add some kind of numerical values really add a lot of depth to your funnel and whatever it is that you're offering. I forgot the actual term for it. So we can see an example here. In the Funnel Hacking Live funnel, we can see that we have this nice little block that talks about the different things that are at this event, right? In particular, this was 2019. They have one of these little blocks for each entry, right? So if we scroll up, we can have this one here. And the reason that this is important is, like I said, it's because people are very interested and for whatever reason, people are very attracted to numbers. Okay. So if you can portray different things in your offer and in the thing that you're promoting in an interesting way through numbers, that's going to help people visualize it more. Okay. So when people are running through like this page, they're going to be like, okay, well, this is pretty cool, right? This event had over 4,300 registrations. It had a budget of 2.8 million. It had 19 speakers, right? So rather than just flat out saying it, you can illustrate this with numbers, and that can go a long way in helping establish your offer and things about it more clearly, right? And give some interesting background information. Now, this is something I recently implemented into my funnel. I can pull it up real quick. And something cool that you can do with this is you can actually turn it into an animation. So we can see right here, I have like the different stats that I have, right, with this particular thing. And I see this every now and then where people will actually animate this, right? And it makes the funnel a little more interesting. So this can also establish more trustworthiness, credibility, and these kind of statistics, I can't speak today. These kind of stats can go a long way with helping you sell more stuff, right? And obviously, you don't want to fudge these numbers. You want to make sure that they are actually accurate and that they accurately portray whatever it is that you're promoting, okay? Because if you just fake the numbers, then people are going to find out, right? People's BS meter is very on high alert these days. So you want to make sure that you're being ethical. You want to make sure you're being ethical with this, okay? So I think that's pretty much it for this one, right? Those are 3 different ways to really make your funnels look not only better, but more trustworthy and credible. And this goes a long way with helping them convert better, okay? So keep that in mind when you're making your funnels. All right, so next thing that we're going to talk about is 5 different examples of Facebook ad copy that I think is really well written and really well effective. So we're going to take a look at that, and I'm going to kind of break down my mindset as to why I think these are good examples. So let's go ahead and flip back to desktop view. So we can say I have them all up here on the tabs and all that. So the first one that we have here is one that I have seen a long time, okay, for several months, and I've also seen a lot of people pretty much like copy and paste this ad and just swap out the offer. So you know that this is a good ad, one, because it's been running for a very long time in different variations from traffic and funnels, and a lot of people are copying it and using it for a long time themselves. Okay, so what is it that makes this copy so great? So in particular, they have a very interesting hook. Okay, so it's like confessions of a high ticket consultant, right? So when you hear about like confessions, you're like, oh, like it's almost kind of like a drama thing, right? And I actually have their book. It's actually one of the ads that I'm going to be talking about today. I bought their book, The Intelligent Advertiser, and one of the things that they talk about is mastering curiosity. Okay, and curiosity kind of intertwines a little bit with dramatic stuff. So we can see here, right, confessions, like it's like very juicy, very dramatic, and it makes you want to read further about it, right? It's like those like soap operas and things like that that you see your parents watching, right? It's very dramatic, but also very curious, which keeps people, and not it's a good thing that gets people hooked in to the ad. Okay, so yeah, so we have a very very nice, curious, kind of dramatic based hook here that gets people interested in reading the rest of it. Okay, and they're basically describing like the different things that a high ticket consultant would relate to. So we have a lot of relatability here, but we also have some humor. Okay, so humor goes a lot of way in ads as well, because who doesn't like to laugh? If you make somebody laugh, that can really help, right? So they basically have like all this kind of serious stuff, and then they say ugly cry because it isn't working. Right? It's just like a silly little line that they put in there, but it makes the copy a lot more engaging, right? Because it provokes a response, right? It makes you laugh, and it basically kind of shows you that these people kind of know what they're doing, right? They're making you laugh, they're relating to you, and they successfully got your attention with this hook. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but it's a really good ad. I recommend taking a look at it, reading the entire thing. Basically, just go into the ads library, type in traffic and funnels, and scroll down for a bit because they're running a lot of them. But yeah, I think this is a great ad. I've seen a lot of people literally copy and paste this ad and just swap some things out. So this is a very good ad, and I think it's a very good ad for those reasons. Okay, it's really good at hooking. It's really good at keeping you engaged, making you laugh, invoking emotions, response, all that kind of stuff, and then giving you a strong reason to want to go to this link. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So here's another one from Traffic and Funnels. So here we kind of have like a story. Now, stories go a long way with making a piece of copy engaging, okay? Because a story does a couple different things, especially if it's a true story. It establishes relatability, okay? Because if you're properly doing your research about your customer, right? Especially if you're your own target customer, right? And you're thinking about what would get your attention if you're reading that ad, however many years ago, right? It's about relatability, right? It establishes relatability. It establishes context, right? And it's just very engaging because there's a reason stories have been told for literally since the dawn of time. And that's because we're wired to be interested in storytelling, good storytelling, right? So when you take this and you use it in your marketing and your ads and your sales copy, it goes a long way in making it engaging and getting people interested in what it is that you have to say. Okay, so don't underestimate the power of a story. Okay, stories are really good at selling stuff, and this is in particular why I think this is a really good ad, because it's also not like super long, right? But it's a nice, decent sized story, and it does a great job at relating to the person that they are advertising to. Okay, they're relating to different emotions and desires and all that kind of stuff, right? So we can see right here, scraping by month after month, right? That's very internal. Explaining to my spouse why I was up at 4 a.m. working, right? That's very internal. These are all very internal, almost kind of pain points that they are talking about here. So they're really kind of, digging the knife in and then turning it and turning it and turning it with this story. Right? And when you're able to invoke this kind of emotion at this level, it's a lot easier to get somebody to click on your ad, right, and buy your stuff. because you're relating to them from an emotional standpoint, right? We can even kind of think about this from just this box where we're talking about, being calm and being relaxed. These are all internal things. And when you go internal, it's a lot easier to get somebody to do something, because when it comes down to it, people don't necessarily buy things because of logic. People do not buy things because of logic. They buy things because of emotions. Okay, emotion, sales is driven by emotion, and it is justified by logic. Okay, so to get people over that initial hurdle, you have to connect to them emotionally. And when you get them emotionally invested in whatever it is that you're offering, then you can kind of throw some logic at them, reasons to buy now, there's a discount, this thing is closing, right? And this goes a long way in helping your ads convert a lot better, right? And traffic and funnels is really good at these kind of ads, which is why I recommend taking a look at what they're doing, because what they're doing is working. I think in their book, they talk about how they spend like $200,000 a month on ads, and they're doing like $600,000 to $800,000 a month in like revenue or whatever, right? So these people clearly know what they're doing, right? And a lot of the reasons that this type of ad works, right, is because of the story elements. And you can't just really slap any story on there. It has to be structured a certain way. And if you're interested in learning how to do that, I think I might copy. I just dropped a bunch of stuff. If you're interested in learning how to tell stories and all that, I'm not using an affiliate link or anything. I recommend checking out Expert Secrets. Russell Brunson basically goes over how to tell stories the right way, and how to use it in your marketing effectively. Okay, and it's called the Epiphany Bridge Script. I'm not going to go over like the chapter or anything like that, but I recommend picking up a copy of Expert Secrets if you want to learn how to tell stories that can be applied to your marketing, okay, because they are very, very powerful. All right, so let's go ahead and switch to the other one. All right, so here we are going to be looking at a shorter ad, right? Because when you're running your ads and you really want to test different things, right? And like I always say, you're going to get tired of me saying this over and over and over and over again, but advertising is really about testing different things. So the more you test, the faster you're going to be able to find something that works. So that means testing long copy, medium copy, short copy, one line, right? And see what resonates the best with your audience. Okay, so here is an example of a short ad. So we have this ad from promo.com, which is this platform I started using recently. I think it's pretty good. It's basically this platform where it teaches you, well, it doesn't teach you, it's an easy tool for creating videos, right? And this is a good example of a short ad, and I'm going to tell you why. So it says, creating video content for your business used to be hard and complicated until now. With Promo's professional video templates, you can create your own winning videos in minutes. Just add your logo and message. It is that simple. And then for the headline, we can say, make your own marketing videos in minutes, right? So basically who they are speaking to here is people who have maybe tried to create marketing videos in the past, or maybe they are manually creating their videos with something like, I don't know, Sony Vegas or whatever video editing programs are out there where you'll be doing this manually. So the reason I think this is a good ad is because it does a really good job of answering what's in it for me, right? WIIFM, which is what every piece of copy has to answer, right? So somebody who is looking for a video is obviously going to be hooked by this headline, make your own marketing videos in minutes. So when somebody reads that headline and maybe they made their marketing videos before manually, they're going to be like, what? I can make a marketing video in just a couple minutes, right? Let me go ahead and read this ad, right? And then on the actual ad, they're basically saying like how it used to be hard, right? They're kind of, they're almost kind of like throwing rocks at the old way of making marketing videos, which is doing it manually, right? You have to film everything yourself, edit it all together, or maybe hire somebody to do it, and it would just be very expensive to do it that way. So they're kind of throwing rocks at this by saying it used to be hard, right? So there's this new way to do things, and it's going to be so much easier for you, and it's just going to be great. and then they say until now, right? So it's also kind of like building like the suspense, and then they're like until now, right? It's very interesting, and it's a very interesting segue into the next part. And then they have the offer, which they're breaking down right here. So basically saying, you know, we got all these cool templates, and you can have your own winning video in minutes. So take a look at how this is worded. You can create your own winning video in minutes. So if we go back to what like the core desires are, we're talking about things like time, right? Saving time. So when you say that something previously took a long time to do and now it takes like just a few minutes, right? It's tapping into that core desire of saving time. And that is one of the reasons I think this ad works so well, and that it's a great ad that you should model, is because it does a great job of tapping into that desire of saving time. So that gets people emotionally invested in what this product is, because it saves them time. And then the second thing that they also do, which is on the last line, is they say just add your logo and message. It is that simple. So they are also saying not only can you get it done in a couple minutes, but it's very simple to use, right? It's an ease of use kind of thing, which goes a long way when we're talking about benefits, right? So that is what I think works really well with this ad, and I think it's why it's a killer ad, right? And the other thing is that it's also been running, let me flip back. You can see that it's been running since July 28th. So that's been running, about a month now, okay? So when you have an ad that has been running for that long, you know that the ad is working, okay? Or they're making their money up somehow from this ad, right? Because like I said, people do not run ads unless it is generating them a return, okay? All right, so let's go on to the next ad. So this one is from Dan Henry, and again, there's a lot of interesting things in this copy that I think go a long way in making this ad successful. And this is an ad that I've seen for over a month now. I believe it's been over a month. It's definitely been a couple weeks since this ad has been running. And he's also running a lot of other ads alongside it. So I think this is a really great ad, and we're going to take a look at why. So here's the ad right here, this middle one, where basically... So let's just start from the bottom, right? Because the context here is important. So he has, you can see obviously there's the Tesla logo, right? And then he has what looks like an expensive watch, right? A Rolex or whatever. And then the hook, he really seems to like using this hook where he says how just one evergreen webinar built our 7-figure course, right? So the interesting thing real quick about this headline is that it's just one thing, right? He set up this one thing, and it's generating all of this output. So this one thing generating all this money, right? So that gets people interested too, because it's like an ease of use kind of thing, because it's like, oh, I only have to create this one thing, right, to make this work. So I think that's interesting. So besides that, which is also an interesting pattern interrupt, because he's also driving, and the hook in of itself, he takes this idea of the Tesla and he actually wires it into the copy. Okay, so he says, if you sell digital, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but if you sell digital products, coaching, or online courses, you may want to take a tip from Elon Musk, right? If you don't know who Elon Musk is, he is, to guess, the CEO or the owner, right, of Tesla, the founder of Tesla or whatever, right? So if I remember correctly, he also, he basically takes different things from Elon Musk and he also wires it, and Tesla itself, and wires it into this copy, right? And this is one of the points that we're also going to talk about later, which helps make your ads perform a lot better, right? So why is this ad good? Okay. First of all, he's relating it to a real world thing, right? He's relating it back to Elon Musk, who's a very well-known person in Tesla. And he's basically taking all this and he's wiring it back to the people, I keep doing that by accident, to the people that he is advertising to, right? So he's talking about digital products, right? Coaching products, all that kind of stuff. The people who are selling a digital product, he is taking all the stuff and relating it directly to the people that he is selling to, right? Dan Henry is very good at making these kinds of messages and framing them specifically for a specific kind of person. Now, if you've been following these lives, you know that one of the most important things that you can do when you are writing your ads and your copy and all that kind of stuff is to really fully understand at a very deep and intimate level your customer profile. Okay, so their feelings, their emotions, their desires, the benefits that they're looking for, the problems they have. The deeper and better that you know your customer, the easier it is going to be for you to make money with your copy and your ads, because you know exactly what to emphasize on the copy, right? It's just a matter at that point, right? You know what this person is looking for, what they're struggling with, but it comes down to a matter at that point of testing like different structures and different things that you're emphasizing, right? But ultimately, it really comes down to really knowing your customer at a deep and intimate level, right? Which is something that Dan Henry is very good with implementing into his messaging, and that's why he's so successful. I can't speak today. That is why he is so successful, because he's very good at speaking directly to the people that he is selling to. Okay, so he's a very good person to model with this type of aspect, right? And the other thing is he also has he's also somebody who likes to pack a lot of value into his ads. So he'll give you like a big golden nugget or several golden nuggets right on the ad, which seems to be obviously working really well for him because he just got, I believe he got the $10 million award, the 2 Camel Cup X award a few months ago. So he clearly knows what he's doing with his marketing, right? So this is a really great ad, which I recommend taking a look at. It's a very good ad. Very good at stopping the scroll, very good at engaging with the customer, and very good at getting the click. And there is one final note that I want to have here, right? So we have all this copy. We have copy, right? And then we have this link. We have the link all the way down at the bottom, right? Now, why do you think the link is all the way at the bottom of the ad? Okay. The interesting thing is when you have a link that far down, it's usually because they are trying to drive a higher quality lead. All right, so the lead cost, your click and your lead cost is probably going to be more expensive, but if somebody is willing to read all of this and then click on your ad and then register an appointment or whatever, your click and the quality of your data is going to be a lot higher. Okay, let me say that again. The more stuff you can get somebody to do is going to make the quality of your data on your Facebook ads a lot higher. This is the whole argument that Breaking the Copy Code has, if you've heard of that, where they prefer to use long form ads rather than short form ads, because the more context that you're building, the longer the ad is, and when somebody clicks over, right, it's a higher quality click. And if you do it right, it's assuming that you do it right and you have a product that sells, you're going to have much higher quality data that makes your ads perform a lot better and a lot longer. Okay, so that's the kind of the advantage you can get with a short ad versus a long ad. It's because when you have a long ad, you really have a chance to establish a lot more context and be able to get like a super specific kind of person on your funnel. And then when Facebook logs that, it's going to look for more people who match those attributes, right? In contrast to having a short ad, right, where it's just kind of like curiosity based, you're going to get a whole lot of clicks. Your click cost is going to be very low, but the quality of that data is not going to be as high as to if you had a long form ad where people have to read a lot of text and then click the link. Right. So obviously this is also something that you have to test with your market, because sometimes long form works better, sometimes short form works better, and sometimes, you know, medium sized ads works better. But generally what we are talking about here is that a lot of the time long form ads go a long way in generating higher quality clicks. And you can see this in a lot of ads like Dan Henry's, where he has like a very long ad and then a link at the bottom. And the reason he does that is because it generates higher quality leads, which helps the Facebook algorithm find higher quality people for the optimization process. All right, so let's go ahead and flip to the other ad, which is our final ad that we're going to be talking about here. And this ad in particular is very interesting because it has been running since May. It's literally been running since May. So, you know, this ad is most definitely working for ClickFunnels, okay? And there's also kind of what I was talking about in the previous point is that you really have to test and see which length your market resonates with. So, I don't know why it's not loading, but we see you can't build $1 million funnel if your sales copy sucks. Funnel Scripts is a push button software that pops out amazing custom sales copy without the time, expense, or headaches of hiring a copywriter. See it in action here. And then we have a video, which is Jim Edwards basically talking about and kind of showcasing what the thing is about, right? What the product is about, right? So why is this good? Why do I think this copy is good? Well, one, because it's been running for so long, that means it's generating them a return. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep running the ad. And the second thing is they're really kind of digging into a pain point here because they're really good also at talking to the people that they're marketing to, right? So a lot of the people that are in like the ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson community, you know, all that sort of stuff, they know that they have this 2 Comma Club award, right? Which is where you have to generate $1 million in the funnel to be able to get that award, right? So they're kind of playing on this by saying you can't build $1 million funnel, right? You can't get the 2 Comma Club award. You can't make $1 million. You can't get a funnel that's going to generate that much if your sales copy sucks, right? And not only does this directly relate to people in the ClickFunnels community, but it relates to people in business in general because businesses ultimately want to turn a profit, right? They want to make money and they want to expand their influence, right? Which you need money to do in the first place. So just in a couple short, you know, sentences, they've really nailed the pain point, but also kind of built the desire for this particular thing, right? And one of the core desires that we also have is making more money. So just by wording it like that, they've tapped into that desire and also tapped into a pain point, okay? And that's what I think makes this ad so great is because they're doing all this in a very compact, effective fashion, okay? Very short but very punchy copy. This is a very good example of a short ad that really pushes a pain point and taps into an internal desire and emotion. Because this line right here, it's really going to get somebody invested in this product or at least interested in it to get them to click over and watch the webinar. So there we have it, right? Those are the 5 different ads, right? The 5 different Facebook ads that I think are killer and really killing it and crushing it right now, and my thoughts behind that. So if you found that useful, go ahead, literally just go on the ad library and look up your favorite, you know, advertisers, the people that you look up to in this space, and take a look at how they are running their ads. The important thing is, and something that you should consider, is taking a look at the ads and the copy that actually made you buy something. Okay, I think I have one of them over here. Yeah, coincidentally, the ad that I bought from is actually on this other page. So let's go ahead and flip to that real quick. So this was a traffic and funnels thing. I was talking about how I bought this book, The Intelligent Advertiser. Good book, I recommend it. But this is the ad that I bought from, okay? It says, new book pulls back the curtain and dives deep into the underbelly of what successful companies are doing in 2019 to crush it in paid advertising. Just pay $6.95 for shipping, and then I have a little video about it, okay? So whenever you see an ad that makes you buy, or a piece of copy that makes you buy, you want to reverse engineer that and ask yourself, why did I buy this, right? And the more you can understand the psychology of why people buy things and why you yourself buys things, the easier it's going to be for you to make advertising copy and sales copy and all that kind of stuff, right? So always be reverse engineering stuff that personally works on you, right? That's actually why I was looking at this ad, because I bought from it. So when I reverse engineer this, I'm saying, why did it, like, what got my attention? What made me want to click on the ad? And then I go over and look at the landing page. I'm like, okay, what made me want to actually buy this? What was the piece of copy that really sparked an emotional response that got me invested in this product and that it could help me achieve the result that I'm looking for, right? Those are the questions that you want to be asking yourself when you find an advertisement that works on you and a piece of copy that works on you. You want to reverse engineer it and basically kind of build like a mental, almost kind of like a mental swipe file of things that worked on you, and that's going to go a long way with helping you. And yeah, so there we go. Those are the 5 different ads. Well, I guess technically 6. Always be looking out for that kind of stuff. And again, like all this is just on the ad library, so go ahead and look at the ad library yourself. Look at people that you're interested in, stuff that worked on you, and that's going to help you a lot too, to see how other people are doing it and how other people are succeeding at it, okay? Because a lot of the time it's not necessarily about reinventing the wheel, but modeling like the other wheels that people have made, right? If we're going with that analogy. So let's go ahead and dive into the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is 2 lessons that we can learn from video games that can help you improve your marketing, right? So your marketing campaigns and strategies and all that kind of stuff, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is interesting. So especially if you're a gamer, there's probably something that you may have noticed. And when it comes down to the games that a lot of people like and that sell the most, it comes down to being able to almost kind of humanize, right, the characters in the video game, right? The best storylines in video games make you care, right, about the characters, right? You care about what happens to them, right? You feel sad when something happens to them. You feel happy when they overcome an obstacle, right? And the more that the game does this, right, the more of kind of like an emotional tie it has, and the more it reels you in, right, and gets you more emotionally invested in the game, right? So how does this apply to business, right? So when it comes down to when you're starting your business and you're running your business and all that stuff, you have to figure out how to make your business appear relatable, right? How can you basically not look like a business, but kind of humanize yourself, right? So you want to come off as relatable. You want to come off as an actual person, because people don't like to buy from these giant corporations, right? And the reason is that a lot of these corporations don't really have a face, right? This is really about giving your company a face, right? Giving your brand a face, because people like to buy from other people. They don't necessarily like to buy from huge corporations that are just kind of like this big brick wall, right? They like to buy from an actual person. You can look at different, brands that have spokespeople, right? These are the kind of things that you want to model when it comes to making your business seem more relatable, right? This is about it's about making your business relatable, and this is kind of what Russell Brunson talks about, and actually both of these books. He talks about both of these books. Attractive character. Now, you want to make sure like that you're coming off as kind of like followable, relatable, and that you're not just trying to sell people stuff, right? Like you kind of want to bring people on the journey with you as you're going through it. Now, this doesn't mean that you're just breaking down like all of your problems on Facebook or whatever, right? But you're showing what you're doing and how you're doing it, right? And you're showing like the amazing things, right, that you're accomplishing, right? The obstacles that you're overcoming, right? These are the things that you want to talk about. And also, this goes beyond business, right? The people that you're selling to are actual people too, right? So how can you relate to them, right? What are those people interested in, right? What are you interested in? What are the different things that you can have that you can talk about, right? One of the posts I made today was about coffee. If you look at any entrepreneur that has a big following, they're telling different stories, right, about things that are going on, right, things that they've accomplished, obstacles that they've overcome, right, lessons that they have learned. And then they have like maybe sometimes completely random posts about, for example, talking about coffee, right, or asking questions about their kids or whatever, right? So what I think my thoughts have been a little jumbled with this, right? But what it comes down to is having a relatable face, right, on your company, and that's going to go a long way. And this is what I'm personally also working on myself, right? And you'll see, follow like any big entrepreneur, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's basically coming off as like a relatable person, okay, and applying that to your business. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is one of the ways that can help your business sustain itself long term. Okay, so let's start with a little story. So maybe back when I was like 10 years old, I remember my brother. Yeah, I have a brother. He was interested. He had an Xbox, right? And he was playing this game. It was called Half-Life 2. He was playing this game, and for whatever reason, I think the game broke or something like that. So he got it for computer, right? And I remember I kind of took over his account, right? And I started playing it, and I got very intrigued by this game, right? And one of the things that I discovered that you could do was that you could change different things about it, right? They call this modding. So after you play the game, you know, that's all fun, right? You play the game, you beat it, blah, 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 right? But how do you keep somebody around long term when it comes to stuff like this? And the thing that has kept this game alive, right? This game came out in 2003? 2003 or 2004, this game came out. And it is still popular till this day. Okay? So why is this game still popular till this day? And the reason is that this game is moddable, right? So you can change things in it, right? You can make your own maps. You can make your own stories. You can make your own models that appear in the game, right? You can basically make your own game from this game, right? So there's literally an endless amount of possibilities of things that you can do with this. And this is the thing that has kept us around for a very long time, right? It's still going very strong. It's one of the most popular modding communities, arguably, in the world. Okay, even the game, because this was the sequel, the original one that came out in '97. It was either '97 or '98. That game is still popular till this day because of this property that they have, is because it's moddable. When you have moddability in a video game, what that does is it makes it endless, okay? Because it's literally an infinite amount of things that you can do with this, right? So how do we apply this to business, right? How do we apply this and use this as a principle in our business? Well, what it comes down to is you want to make sure that when you make your business, you want to make it around something that people can integrate into, right? You want to build a community of people that that they can integrate themselves in and interact with, right? And create their like own little subgroups and things like that, right? You basically want to create your own community, right? Because when there's one thing that you can't replicate in a business, right? And it's the community, and the community that you have built around it. So think of this in terms of companies like ClickFunnels. Literally anybody with like a couple of years of knowledge with programming and web design could create what ClickFunnels is, right? They can create the tools. But what they cannot recreate, right, is their community, right? That's ultimately one of the biggest factors in what keeps a business sustainable long term, is having a following, right? Having a community of people that, you know, interact with each other and help each other and all that kind of stuff, right? The community is literally like the life of your business for long-term stability, right? That's the difference between like $100,000 business and $100 million business. It's going to be your community, and basically it comes down to community, right? So when it comes down to your business, right, think about, how can I turn what I'm doing into a community, right? How can I make it moddable, right? How can I make this thing last long term, right? How can I maximize the value that I'm giving with this, so that even if you're not necessarily in the picture, your company's still, sustainable long term, right? Because you have all this stuff kind of working for you. That was a lot of talking. Not used to talking this long. All right, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say about those two things, right? I always like to try and take different things and apply it to business, because when you're able to take things like a relatable concept or an interesting concept and then kind of wire it into what you're talking about, it can make things a lot more effective, right? And that's also one of the things that we're going to talk about next. So that's going to be our next and final topic. We're going to be talking about how a simple principle, right, that you can test can make your ad, even your sales copy, a lot more effective, right? Do you want to know what that is? Let's go ahead and talk about it. So when it comes to writing your ads and sales copy and all that stuff, a lot of us make the mistake of making the messaging too low level, right? So we're all excited about our product. We know what benefits it can have, but sometimes we just kind of spew what they call technobabble, right? And someone's just like, huh? Even if that person in like another timeline or like another universe would have bought that product, they're not going to buy it because you're not messaging it in a way that makes sense to them, right? So this is not exactly what I'm going to be talking about, but this is the same principle of what I'm going to be talking about here, okay? So when it comes to making ads that are engaging, something that you can test, and something that I'm seeing a lot more frequently is going back to the Dan Henry ad with the whole Tesla thing, right? You're kind of taking something and wiring it into the copy, right? So I'm going to show you an example of this. So if we look at the ads from Ad Zombies, we can see this is all over the place, right? So it's better to just kind of show you and then talk a little bit more about it, right? So they say, do your ads get this many eyeballs? And then see, we're looking out for you, so it's kind of like a pun. And then the video is literally just a bunch of eyeballs, right? So the interesting thing about this is it makes the copy a lot more interesting, right? Because it's a relatable concept, right? Obviously, everybody knows what an eyeball is, right? But also, people know that for their business to generate money and to make leads and sales and all that stuff, your ads need to actually have people looking at your website, right? People going, you have to have traffic to make all this stuff work, right? So they've taken this very interesting thing, very relatable concept of an eyeball, and they wired it into copy, right? This is something, a little trick that you can try and something that you can test to really boost the engagement of your ad. Because I don't know about you, but I've never seen an ad that literally used a video of eyeballs, right? And I talked about it for the entire copy, right? It's short, but literally the whole thing is about eyeballs. So you can see this example literally all over the place. So what's the best burger you've ever eaten, right? They also like to advertise their blog posts. So let's see if we can find another example of this. Let's see. I know there are a couple other ones. All right, it looks like the main ones that they are running are the eyeballs ones, right? But that's a prime example of what I'm talking about here. That when you're able to really take like a relatable concept and then creatively spin it into your copy, it can make your copy a lot more interesting, a lot more relatable, and a lot more powerful, which is what Ad Zombies has done here with their videos and their ads and all that stuff. So think of the different things, like concrete things that you can talk about, right? Because it not only serves as it kind of serves as a pattern interrupt, but it also serves as the whole context building while also relating it back to the offer, right? So think of the different concrete things that you can talk about. Literally just pick up a random thing on your desk. Let's see. I don't know, got a mouse. Let's see what else I got. Let's see, we got a lock, right? So let's say I wanted to spin this lock into an ad. So if I was promoting, I don't know, like the ad copy thing, right? I could be like, unlock Facebook ads, right? Have like an engaging picture or video of a lock, right? And this is interesting because you're applying the properties of this thing that everybody knows what it is to the thing, the product or service that you are promoting. So let's see, what else do I have? I have a puzzle, if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. So I have a puzzle here, right? So what if I had like some kind of interesting puzzle or I was solving it or something? And I could be like, Facebook ads don't have to be this complicated, right? They don't have to be like a puzzle, right? Or I could be like, are Facebook ads puzzling to you? Are you puzzled by why your ads aren't converting, right? Things like that. Basically take something and apply it to a tangible object that everybody knows what that object is, and that makes it easier to get your point across with what your offer is in a very creative fashion, okay? Ad Zombies is very good at doing this, as well as, excuse me, Dan Henry and Kat Hellall. So take a look at their ads if you're interested in learning more about this tactic, but it's definitely something I recommend trying because it can work really well if you do it right. So let's see what else. That's not gonna work. But anyway, hopefully you get the point, right? So I think that is pretty much all I have to talk about today. So hopefully you found that interesting. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it into the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer that for you. If you got some value out of this, please like and share it with your friends if you found it interesting. And if you're interested in joining my group, as usual, you can go to customora.com/FB group. And I'm building up my group of ethical marketers who are interested in changing their world and not necessarily making a whole bunch of money, right? So that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, if you have any questions, just feel free to put it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer it, spark a discussion there. And if you want to become an ethical marketer, go ahead and join my ethical marketers group, customara.com/FB group. Right, it's going to redirect you to our group link, and you'll be able to join. And I want to be posting a lot more in there. Like I said, right, talking about building communities, groups, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you can kind of see how I'm going about doing that too. But yeah, so I will see you in the next Ethical Marketing Secrets.